Botafogo have qualified for the knockouts. A loss today, but what do you make of the team's performance?
No, we knew that we are playing against a great team. We didn't defend so well, not because of the goal, but because we go down too early, near our area, too much as I wanted and as I asked. But I know we are playing against a great team, great players. The time goes on and the players are thinking about the result. The result is influenced how they play, so they start to approach our area, and that was a problem for us. I want to have more ball, and especially the moments of transition decide a little bit well. Savarino had the first opportunity. Probably the game will change, but we are qualified, but not a so good game as the last one.
Yeah, of course, not as good as their last game, but Kléberson, this is still a big moment for them, isn't it? The fact that they are through, the fact that they've got through a really tough group as well. Yeah, Botafogo's in the tough group. They don't play like Renato said. They don't defend well, especially on the transition when they have the chance to finish on a goal. They not did well. But probably the players got a little bit tired in the end, and then it's a really difficult moment for Botafogo because they cannot risk too much during the game, so they give more goals for Atletico de Madrid. But in the end, they pass through. Yeah, they've lost 7 games this season, all by a goal to nil. They're a very tough team when they are beaten. Callum, let's look at the goal that did give Atletico all 3 points, although it wasn't enough, of course, because they needed to win by 3 goals to nil. This came very late on, didn't it? What did you make of it? Yeah, it was obviously a fantastic goal from the team in terms of Griezmann finding that space in the box. It's such an art to do as a striker, just drifting. He was never going to beat the centre-backs in the air because of his height, but obviously he's managed to find himself space, and just too little too late, really. I felt that Atletico did have the chances throughout the game to get themselves more goals, but today wasn't their day. It did feel like at this point, though, potentially the late show could be on. They did have the chances, as Callum said. Yeah, they have a lot of chance. I think Atletico de Madrid, they need to change a little bit the style because there's no pressing team. They did not do well in terms to win the ball more on the Botafogo sides, and then they give more chance to Botafogo get out on a transition. But they still have a couple chances and then they score. And the team has to score 3 goals. It's very difficult when they start to lose goals. Callum, they're going to be left ruining those missed chances, aren't they? Because there was a hatful. There was, and obviously we spoke about Soloff before the game, about the chances that he'd missed over previous matches, and today he had probably one of the biggest of them all, really. He would have been frustrated, especially coming off the back of missing those, but as you can see here, it wasn't just him. There was chances for Alvarez, chances for Griezmann, and this was in the first half where, on another day, Alvarez might be claiming that there's a penalty, but the defender does touch the ball first, so he has no complaints there. But again and again, they were banging the door down, but Botafogo defended well, limited them to chances like this, really, where they're flying across, putting their bodies on the line, really. Is this a case that in the situation when you know you've got to score a set number of goals, maybe the pressure can get to you a bit, the desperation of wanting to score can almost make you fluff your lines a bit? Yeah, it felt like the first half they needed to lay a punch a bit more and take the game to Botafogo. But obviously, second half, they come out the blocks, they made a change. Griezmann, who come on at half-time, made such an impact. He would have been frustrated not to start the game, which is probably why he's come on and tried to, impress the manager, so to speak. But he's got himself on the score sheet, and him, Soloff, Alvarez, all attacking players, yeah, they would have hopefully got more goals today. OK, so Atletico getting the win, but it wasn't enough. They did need to win by a 3-goal margin, so it does mean that Botafogo are through, as are PSG. They went through as group winners in the other game.
We are with Luis Enrique after this win. We have said before the games there is no easy game in this tournament.
This is the World Cup club. It's impossible to have an easy match. I think they compete really well. They play great football, and it was difficult until the last minute.
After this group stage, what do you think about your team?
Well, we are trying to compete in the best level, at a high level, every single match, and I think we dominate the match. We deserve to win, but it was tough because it was tight all the time. They press well and they play on the ball at a high level, and it was difficult.
How was that for you out there? It looked like another straightforward clinical performance, was it?
Yeah, it's true. We are really happy for the victory we deserve after the last game against Botafogo, that we didn't be very good in the game and we lose, so we have to come back more strong, and today we saw that, and we want to continue in the competition.
So PSG do progress as group winners despite the three teams being locked on 6 points. We're joined in the studio now by broadcaster and journalist and PSG fan Julien. First question, where were you when you lost to Botafogo? We didn't get you in the studio then, did we?
I wasn't available.
Oh, right, convenient. But you are here today because you're back smiling once again because PSG safely through. What was key to that performance today?
To be fair, it was not great. It was not a great performance. I thought Seattle defended well. We had with Enrique saying they pressed well at times too, and it was a PSG from the start of the season where they were a bit sloppy in their passing, they lacked a bit of energy. It was a 12 o'clock kickoff, so it's not easy. It was really hot as well in Los Angeles. But in the end, I think the talent in that team, we saw the goal from Hakimi, for example, in transition. Doué, Barcola is there. They got lucky with the first goal, but overall, they were the better team. It was just still not the rhythm that we saw towards the back end of the season, especially in the Champions League final. OK, let's take a look at the first goal firstly then. And Callum, this is one that you'd be proud of, wouldn't it?
It is. I mean, there's not many goals that he's going to score off his back and end up in the net. And, yeah, I'm sure he didn't know much about it, but they're goals as a striker or as a forward that you're proud of. Yeah,
and then Hakimi is always a threat, isn't he, in terms of going forward from right back? Yeah, and it's one of the rare times, especially in the second half, that Seattle actually went forward because they defended. Because the problem is if you go forward like that against PSG and you don't score or don't use the ball well, they're going to hit you in the counter in transition, and that's exactly what they did. 3 passes for Doué to Barcola, Barcola to Hakimi, Hakimi to score. Yeah, it was an effective, efficient goal from PSG.
Yeah, it's a great goal. I think PSG, it's a tough to come back after the way they lost against Botafogo. But the goal they score here is a really good goal. You see how they have the time. Hakimi get a free on the other side, get a touch and finishing. It's a good for PSG go back in the competition.
Jules, PSG have had over 73% possession over the 3 games. That's the highest in the tournament so far. Does that just show the respect shown to them by other teams? Yeah, I think so. But also, it's good to have the ball. They just lack a bit of that energy, I think. Because it's been a long season, they haven't really stopped. The players played the Champions League final, then went on international duty, then came straight from there to the US for the Club World Cup. And at times, you see it. You see the lack of energy, even in the counter-pressing. There's something just missing a little bit, but with the ball, they're still an outstanding team. And today they wanted to top the group. They had somebody listening at the Atletico score to see if Atletico could do them a favour, which they did. So they're very happy to avoid potentially the likes of City and Bayern Munich. OK, let's take a look at the teams that are already through then. PSG joining this list tonight, as are Botafogo as well. Some big teams already through, the likes of Bayern, Juve and Manchester City, and of course Flamengo, the Brazilian and South American teams in general, doing incredibly well. That is all we've got time for tonight then. 2 more teams through to the knockout stages.